Hey guys, Carmine Bianco of WagerTalk.com. With me is Andrew McInnis of WagerTalk.com. We're the hosts of PuckTime, and we actually have some props up. These are cross-sport props: NFL, Super Bowl, and then the 6 or 7 Sunday games that are on the NHL schedule. They've come up with some props, and we're going to give our opinions on these. I'm going to bring in Andrew McInnis. Andrew, how you doing?
Pretty good, Carm. We're doing a lot of shows together, and this kind of correlates to us hosting Puck Time. And now, of course, it's time for the Super Bowl, and these props kind of correlate with hockey and football. So, it should be interesting to see what both yours and my thoughts are on these.
Yeah, and we're going to get right to it, guys. We're going to go through 7 here. I'm going to read what the prop is, and then I'm going to throw it to Andrew. You're going to tell me what you like, and then I'll respond on whether we're on the same side or not. So we're going to start with the very first one, which is which will there be more of? Goals scored in Sunday's 7 NHL games, or Antonio Brown receiving yards? So in looking at this up at some of the while there's no Grand Salami yet for the Sunday games, the average goals being scored right now would put those 7 games at about 40 to 41 and a half goals being scored. That's what the Grand Salami is going to be around. And some books, Andrew, are offering Antonio Brown receiving yardage at 42 and a half. So I'm going to throw this one to you and tell me your thoughts on this one.
Well, we've got teams like the Florida Panthers, or excuse me, like the Detroit Red Wings. Got teams like the Chicago Blackhawks playing on Sunday. We've got some afternoon games, which sometimes could cause some disruption with these players that you're used to playing at night. I look across the board here, and I look from a betting standpoint for NHL, Carm. I like the unders more than I like the overs for Sunday. And I think Antonio Brown, that number's kind of low for him. I feel like he'll get a couple of plays, and he will be involved in the big game. So I'm going to go with Mr. Antonio Brown here over the Grand Salami.
We are on the same page on this one, Andrew. I am going to go with Antonio Brown, 42 and a half as well, too. In a game that you figure is, they're calling for a high scoring game. Brady, even if he's behind, he's going to be passing. Brown's going to be picking up some yards. So, anything, if he picks up 50 yards, it easily goes over that 42. And we're not going to see 50 goals scored across the 7 games in the NHL. I doubt that. All right, let's jump into the second one. Uh, Alex Ovechkin shots on goal versus Philadelphia, or Tyrion Matthau's solo and assisted tackles. So this is what I have so far. Ovechkin's shots on goal so far through 5 games, Andrew, has averaged 3.6 shots on goal. Uh, as far as Matthau's solo and assisted tackles, he's averaged 4.4 of those solo and assisted tackles. So those are pretty close, 4.4, 3.6 as far as their averages so far. Give me your thoughts on this one.
I think defense will be a huge part of the game. I think Tyron Matthew will have a great game, and as he's known as the Honey Badger, I think he'll play a good factor. But I'm looking at an Alexander Ovechkin that I just think that he will pepper the net in that game. They are playing the Philadelphia Flyers, a team that right now is kind of prone to the penalty box. The penalty box means power plays. Power plays means top guys go out there, and if Ovechkin is out there, you know where he makes a living. He makes his living on the hash mark, and he will get a bunch of shots. So it's not really as much against Tyron Matthew for me, more so a praise towards Ovechkin. I feel like his matchup works well for him. I'll take Ovechkin over the Tyron Matthew tackles.
Yeah, I am opposite of you on this one. I'm going to take Ty solo and assisted tackles. I think the number could be higher. I get the whole Ovechkin thing, and and watching the Philadelphia game the other day against the Bruins, they kept the Bruins shot count down. So I'm going to look for something similar here. I get it with Ovi in the power plays. It's a very good point to take, but I'm going to go with the solo and assisted tackles on this one. All right, we're going to head over to the next one. Total goals in the Flyers Caps game plus a half against total touchdowns in the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl is minus a half there. The total in this Flyers Caps game is likely to be around 6, maybe 6.5, just because the Caps have gone over the total in 8 of their last 10 games. Um, the last 10 games between these teams, 65 goals scored, but the over-under is only 6-4. Total TDs at sports books for the Super Bowl, 6.5 right now. So again, 6.5 and a 6, that's where that minus half comes from. Give me your thoughts on this one.
I'm curious to hear where you're going with this one, Carmine. But for myself, this one definitely was a tricky one. You know, these odds makers, they have their jobs for a reason, man. They're good at what they do. I'm going ahead here. I'm going to take the touchdowns. It seems to me, like you said, a lot of people expecting a high scoring game in the big game, and that the total is set where it is for a reason. And we saw the last time these two teams, the quarterbacks threw for 3 touchdowns each, 3 touchdown passes. I feel like we will see 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns as well. I expect this to be, first to 33 wins the game. And if that's the case, we will see more touchdowns than goals.
All right, we are on opposite ends of this one only because I don't expect it to be a blowout Super Bowl where I'm looking at under 56 likely in that game. So I am going to go with total goals scored in the Washington Philadelphia game. All right, Nathan McKinnon points on Sunday versus the St. Louis Blues, or Ronald Jones reception total. Thoughts?
This one's funny because I expect a lot of Tom Brady dump offs. So you'd think that I would like him, Ronald Jones, over his reception total, with especially how low that total is, Carm. But I feel like a lot of those dump offs will be going to Leonard Fournette, which will cause me to look at Nathan McKinnon. If he's back in full health, if he's looking good, the reports are good. I feel like he will be ready and hungry and good to go in gameplay. We're asking him to get points as well, not just goals. So he could get 2 assists and beat Ronald Jones receptions. I feel like the dump off receptions to running backs will go to Fournette, not Ronald Jones.
Yeah, I get it. McKinnon averaging 1.4 points per game so far through 5 games. At any sports book, if you're looking at the Ronald Jones reception total, it's at a half, minus 170. So they figure it's probably like they'll get a reception. And yeah, the last two playoff games, it's been Fournette. He's been the main guy. I think he's been targeted 7 times in each of those games. So I'm on McKinnon in this one as well too. All right, Coyotes goals versus Minnesota plus 130 again, or Rob Gronkowski reception totals minus 150. Zona's averaging 2.33 goals per game on the road through 3. The total here is likely going to be around 5.5. Gronk's receptions forecast for this game are 2.5. Andrew?
Well, we were talking with our buddy today, Brian Leonard, on Puck Time about goal expectancy, and the Arizona Coyotes fall under that category of a team that should potentially have many more goals on the season than they do statistically. So this team going up against the Wild that have not been great goaltending wise, but the pace has been great in every single Wild game. They've of course had some low scoring games, but I don't expect this one to be low scoring. And for Gronk, I think it's gone very underrated how strong his blocking has been. He'll get a catch in a few key moments, but I don't feel like his key to the game will be a bunch of pass catches. We also have Cameron Brate as well for the Bucs, so I feel like he'll take care of things as well, receiving wise. I'm going with Coyotes goals over the Gronk receptions. Also notable to mention, it's a good plus price there, plus 130 on that, Carm.
Yeah, and I'm with you on this one. So we agree on this one. Let's blast through these last couple. Uh, Golden Knights goals versus the LA Kings plus 120, or Jason Pierre-Paul's solo and assisted tackles minus 140. Just a few stats for you, Andrew. Knights at home this season, averaging 4 goals per game in the 5 games they've played, but only averaging 2 goals per game against the LA Kings at home in 11 games lifetime, and only scoring 4 and 3 once. All the other ones were like 1s and 2s. Jason Pierre-Paul averaging 3.6 combined. The only problem with that is Paul didn't practice recently, so he's nursing an injury. So that's something you have to take into consideration.
It's definitely a consideration, and the COVID problems as well with the Vegas Golden Knights. I've considered that as well. I believe that when teams are without games for a couple of days, it causes sloppiness and more goals in a game, not as much defensive games. So I will go with the Vegas Golden Knights to get more goals.
I am with you on that one. So we agree. Final one. Vegas Golden Knights saves -110 or Scotty Miller receiving yards -110. Knights are averaging 21.4 saves per game, their goalies. Miller's receiving yards forecast for this game, you can bet at 13 and a half, over or under 13 and a half. So you've got 21.4 saves, 13 and a half for the yards. Andrew, where are you going?
Give me the Scotty Miller over. I'll take that all day long. I feel like he will play a pretty shockingly good part of this game, and he'll be important. So we saw what he was able to do last week against the Packers. My Packers, one catch for like what was it, 30 yards, Carm? If he gets one or two catches, he's getting over that number. And I don't think the Vegas Golden Knights surrendered that many shots against.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. I'm on the Miller one just for the same fact that if he gets uh, 20 to 25 or 30 yards, it's good enough, obviously, to win that bet. But I don't expect the Knights Kings game to be a back and forth affair, and the Knights trying, sorry, the Kings trying to enforce their game, which is a clog up the neutral zone. So, with that said, Scotty Miller yards to win that one. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. For Andrew McInnis, I am Carmine Bianco, and good luck on the Super Bowl.